You're listening to the Sports Fix.
Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by Fantasy Jocks. Looking to upgrade your league trophy? Check out fantasyjocks.com for championship belts, rings, trophies, and more.
Sports Fix listeners, don't wait all day or all week to get in on the fun. The party doesn't stop when we go off the air all week long. The Sports Fix social media sites are your one-stop shop for all things Cleveland sports. Jump over to Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, and become a fan today because we love fans and they create some of the best sports talk in town, Daddy. You'll enjoy talking to your Sports Fix fan page. And if Twitter's your thing, well, you know how we do it. Tweet with us at TheSportsFixCLE. It's that simple. Twitter.com/TheSportsFixCLE, baby. Chat live with the crew during all your favorite Cleveland sports events, tickets and contests and trivia and so much more. Get with us today, The Sports Fix on social media, Facebook.com/TheSportsFix. Tweet with us at TheSportsFixCLE. Join the Sports Fix on Facebook and Twitter today.
I'm Tyler Zeller, and you're listening to The Sports Fix.
Live in Ohio, it's time to get your fix. The Sports Fix.
That's me. That's my cue. Welcome in, everybody, to the Sports Fix. J-Rock with you guys. Jerry Myers kicking things off, cracking the mic. A big top popper today here on the Sports Fix as far as a loaded show. Use that term sometimes, and I'll tell you what, today definitely is the definition of that. We've got top to bottom, first hour loaded. We've got Jeff Gorman from Indians101.com joining. Matter of fact, Jeff's going to be here not that long from now, joining us right off the top of the show. Talk some of the latest with the Indians, of course, the Brandon Moss acquisition and what may be following up on that. Chris Antonetti spoke to the media yesterday. We'll talk about all of that. Some more. Man, the White Sox continue to improve that team. They're not playing. They said, hey, this is more than a two or three dog race over there. Hello to the Chicago White Sox as well. We're going to talk about all of that with Jeff Gorman from Indians101.com. We've got Doug Plagans, voice of the Lake Erie Monsters, joining us. Doug will be with us here in Hour 1 as well. Talk to him about the latest going on with the Monsters. Hour 2, wiped the slate clean so that my man, Dr. Football, Bill Checkus, can join us here as he does every Tuesday, and we are going to dive into all kinds of things going on here. As a matter of fact, we're not going to wait until Hour 2. I've got a few things to talk about early on here as we start the show. Mike Pettin yesterday, I'll tell you, I didn't just sit through his press conference live, but over 5 or 6 times, just re-poured over that thing, and I'll tell you what, I lean one way, lean the other with what he's trying to say. I will say this: we'll get into it in just a moment. We'll do the formatics here of starting the show and then get into it. But man, that was the face of a man who, no matter what, has been pushed into a position that he tried to avoid, and you could just see in his face the disappointment that we're even at this point and having this conversation. And we'll get into that here, as well as my thoughts on where the Browns are going to go. A press conference scheduled at 4 o'clock yesterday to tell you that we're not going to tell you the one thing you came here to find out yesterday. And it was a kick. I was joking with some people last night watching the media. I'm telling you, man, the battles I have with that team, because I have my own mind, so the battles that I have over credentials, and then I listen to the questions that are asked, and I'm like, really? No wonder they let you in the building, man, because there's nothing hard here. I mean, you sit there for 15 minutes, and I'm not saying everybody. Some people definitely get to some good questions, but man, a lot of people don't. And you just sit there and listen, and you go, really? How many times are you going to ask the question about the Cavs game? How many times are you going to quote this unnamed story or this website said that? I mean, nobody comes anymore and says, hey, so-and-so told me this. It's always, what about this unattributed report? But anyways, it's not even just that. It's, here's my statement about the quarterback. I'm not going to talk about it anymore until Wednesday. Let's try every way possible to ask a question about the quarterback after he just said, I'm not going to say anything else. Well, Coach, I know you said you weren't going to talk about the quarterback, but if you were to talk about the quarterback, what would you say? Those are the kinds of things that they do. Well, Coach, if you were to make a change at the quarterback decision, would the players already know about it, or would you have to inform them about it? Like anything to get an answer so that you can go, oh, here's the decision. It's like, man, I get it. I get digging. But that's just a stupid circle that you're going. And when I say stupid, I mean because everybody asking it and everybody listening to it is all stupider for having taken part in that giant redundant circle of questions. But anyways, we'll talk about all of that. Cavaliers, royal audience yesterday. And man, did they put on a show in the second half. My man Dion Waiters. He had more points last night coming off the bench than the Cavs bench has had in any game in the last couple of weeks, man. The Cavs got it together, run that win streak to 7 as they come back home. We're going to get into all of that. Matter of fact, you guys are blowing up the social media over the last 24 hours. I mean, obviously, the quarterbacks, the Browns, that's a big deal, big question mark, big everything with everybody. And I've just got one little section. I grabbed a group of 50 comments. I can't go through all of them. A random grouping here, and I'm going to go through some of those as well. Quite a variety in the slice of people's thoughts here this morning on the Browns. And through all of this, and this is a shame that the Browns are dealing with this, but you got to win these games because through all of this, they're in a position still to go out there and make some things happen. But anyways, we'll get into all of that. We'll talk Cavs. We're talking Indians, Lake Erie Monsters, Dr. Football's here in hour 2. Your takes, so much more. So let's do it. Pop in the top on today's edition of the Sports Fix. As I said, welcome in. I'm your host, the Big Daddy on the microphone. They call me that. They call me the coordinator, the conductor of the madness. They call me a lot of things behind my back, but you can call me J-Rock here, and call me glad to have you guys here each and every weekday at noon, live across the Sports Fix Radio Network, whether you're listening to us on TuneIn and their digital and mobile applications, one of the best places to listen to the show live each and every day. Maybe you're listening on Spreaker and Mixler. Shout out to my Cat's Own Spreaker Radio, by the way. Love you guys. Continue to listen to the show no matter where you do it live. Maybe you're listening on the sportsfix.net. If you're not, bookmark it, even if you don't need to use it to listen to the show, but it's always your backup. The show plays live. You don't even have to click any buttons on the website. You just go to the website and it streams automatically. It's magic at noon. I just start talking to you. It's great. Thesportsfix.net. Thesportsfix.net. Make sure you bookmark it. It's got everything you need. And hey, if you ever want to tell somebody how to find the show, it's the easiest way. Just say, go to that website. And anyways, thesportsfix.net. Bookmark it today. Thank you as well to everybody listening on digital delay 24/7 around the world on iHeartRadio, the world's largest internet radio network, on iTunes, on Stitcher Radio, and CarPlay, and SoundCloud, and DAR FM, and all of the places that you guys download the show. All of those weird sites I tell you about that. No offense if you're a weird site out there. What I mean is just off the beaten path. Don't know how they got the feed to the show, but they do, and I appreciate the love. And anyways, thank you guys so much, however you enjoy the show, for being here with us each and every day at noon. And be with us. Don't just be here, be a part of the show. Phone lines open, 216-539-7535. 216-539-7535. Hit us up on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/thesportsfix. Tweet with us at thesportsfixcle. Join the over 22,000 followers of us on social media, facebook.com/thesportsfix. Tweet with us at thesportsfixcle, and you can always email us 24/7, thesportsfix@aol.com. I know Jeff Gorman's coming just about 5 minutes from now, so we got to get to the break, but I want to talk about the Browns here. I want to start off the show, and as I said, hey, don't worry, we've got a lot of things to cover here in hour 1, hour 2. We've cleared the slate. Dr. Football is going to join us. We're going to talk a whole lot of football. Browns, NFL, playoff races going on, all of that. So there's a whole lot of football to come, and I want to start off with a little bit of it. Sat here yesterday. We got off the air, about an hour and a half later. Mike Pettine's press conference is scheduled, and he went out there. And, I mean, I wasn't the only one. The website was buckling under the pressure of the streaming yesterday because it was a lot of people expected, hey, this is going to be, and I'm going to start right here with, man, I understand if the function of not making a decision yesterday was because you needed to inform the quarterbacks. You needed to whatever, or you needed to have your meetings. I get that. I'll tell you, that did surprise. Here's a couple things that surprised me. Let me start right off the top. That they allowed Brian Hoyer to have his normal media avail, because he spoke just less than an hour. It was about a half an hour before Mike Pettin took the dais and did his speech. Now, I know how Mike Pettin is with his players, even the ones that he parts ways with and lets go. I find it now, a lot of people read into the fact that he's waiting until Wednesday to make a decision that he needs to tell Brian Hoyer that he's not going to start. And that could be possible. We'll get into that. That it moves a few minutes ahead into this conversation. That's possible. Very possible. But I just wonder why because he went out there, he did his normal media avail. He had to have spoken to Mike Pettin prior to his media avail. He still gave the speech about being the starter this week and not being told anything's going to change. Part of me thinks, and maybe I'm crazy here, guys, but part of me thinks Mike Pettin, the Browns would have perhaps peeled back. And you can say that's a clue. That's fine. Everybody's looking for clues in everything. Yeah, it's a clue if you alter the media appearance, but that's fine. Then let everybody see that clue. I found it a bit odd that they allowed Brian Hoyer to go out there yesterday and give the speech that he did, and then Mike Pettin. But here's what I mean. That's cool. Mike Pettin followed it up by parroting almost everything that Brian Hoyer said as far as the problems in the offense being far more than the quarterback. I mean, he laid out a laundry list. You can believe it or not believe it. You can think it's excuses or not. I'm just saying what the Browns coach said. I'm simply repeating what he said yesterday. And he spelled out that while obviously it ends at the quarterback, there were all of these other, he literally said the entire offense was not effective at all, and they all exaggerated the performance of the quarterback. And obviously Brian missed throws. And point being is that when I got done to the end of this, first thing I saw was a coach who is truly getting worn down at the end of a tough season with some tough losses here, because you could tell it was a team and a coach that went all in. They said, hey man, we're gonna fight this thing, and they played such a great game defensively. He had that look of a guy who came out on the losing side of a hell of a fight, where the fight was great, but afterwards you sit back and you see the toll that it took on you, and you can see the difference. I mean, it's what a season does. You can see it on Hoyer too. The look on he is not as youthful looking as he was back in September. Well, a lot of things were different back in September, but anyways, back to the press conference. So a lot of people instantly ran that Mike Pettin just needed to tell the quarterbacks that he was making the change, and that was what the delay was, because Mike Pettin said, I need to get with my people. We got to do this whole thing just like we did last week. Whoever's the quarterback will be out there on Wednesday. And I'll tell you what, so many people, it's funny because I would say about 90% of the people out there took that to mean that's it. It's Johnny time for sure. I came out of that press conference the opposite. I came out of that going, man, again, he had the chance to just come out here on Monday and go, look, man, we're turning the page. We're moving forward. Thank you so much, Brian Hoyer. We appreciate what you've done. Now we're going to try and see what we've got here, and so on and so forth. He didn't again. And I listened to his words, and I said, all I'm saying, guys, is while I think the change has to be made, and here's why. I'm a Hoyer guy. You guys know that. I don't think Johnny Manziel makes it in the NFL. And this isn't even about finding that out. I'm all about Brian Hoyer, and what I mean by that is this is all about him. This does not involve number two. What I'm saying now does not involve the backup. Brian Hoyer has been broken by the pressure of this situation. Now, that doesn't mean, if you're a Hoyer fan, if you think that he can do more, because I do. I think that he can evolve, and I think he can learn from this and get better, learn how to handle pressure, get in better shape, all of that, be in a better situation. Different things can change. Look, man, Colt McCoy is still starting games.